again. It's Arcturus, often imitated, never ever duplicated. There's only one original, that is, namely me. Today's topic for my good and resonant brethren and sisterns and nuns and monks without monastery out there in the wild, defending the light and praying and being actively here on this planet to lead as an example, as a positive, non-violent existence in this dimension, to show the world that we can do much better than we did in the past, that we are learning that this experience and this experiment of what it means to be conscious or super conscious comes to a closure, as in the disclosure that is namely you. Today's topic is forgiveness, and it's about your sanity. Insanity only means inside sanity, meaning you are looking from the inside out as you realize that the world is insane, which is okay. When you are clearing or cleaning your apartment, well, dust will come up, so protect yourself from whatever you observe while you are cleaning yourself. It's as we look at our systems, our laws, our governments, our structures, the way we used to handle things, we are coming now to a realization what is sick. The multimedia in a grand spectrum shows us what needs healing on all levels, misunderstandings on all levels, the perspective, everything we have, discrimination, racism. If you go back into the ancient stories that I talked about, which I will elaborate in other videos, of where the human race really comes from and what we are, is this intellectual racism, discrimination, xenophobia, fear of the unknown or the foreign, the status quo, the social programming. It's thousands of years old. I would even dare to say, if not millions of years old, of how the same principle runs over and over, which is, conquer planetary systems, have mining operations for lucrative minerals, and have a few control the many, when actually the many are the ones that are in power once they come into knowledge and attaining such, knowing that they are not a minority, that this is a myth. There's more people on the planet than governments, and who governs your mental other than yourself. We have 470 religions that define God in their specific way, trying to individualize something that doesn't have a gender nor a name. Science is trying to find out what that is, the source, and trying to go deep and study, and we look for the Higgs particle, and we radiate, and we nuclear power, and we blow stuff up, and we are looking away from where we actually are, which is the center of you. This is the meditation of you, of when you are actually in tune with your heart and you're at a certain coherence level. When science shows us the knowledge is out now, knowledge is given. If you want to understand the things that are there, why they exist, you have the opportunity now to study that for yourself. Reincarnation, for those who don't believe, there is a series on BBC called I think Past Lives, or The Boy Who Lived Before. See for yourself what 3-year-olds bring back from what they remember, where they died and how they died, with names, places, cities, everything buried down to the microbe described. And when investigated, all of those places and people are found. That should give you the opportunity to have no question that you've returned until you figure this out and you can transcend. Also, knowing what that means to not get trapped in astral realms and with astral projection, because you can transcend that also when you step into OBE, outer body experience. That can be experienced as well. Very important topics. movies for children, we highly recommend Laws of the Sun, Laws of Eternity, The Golden Laws, and The Rebirth of Buddha. These are all manga, anime, made for kids. There's another one, I think that The Golden Laws is called Time Traveler from the Future, that explains how a time traveler comes from the future to visit his great ancestor, and things go so it seems wrong, and it shows actually how time travelers come here, how they can appear, how they can cloak themselves, and it's all in an animation. Figures show up with elven ears that were sent too soon to this planet to trigger evolution, that dabbled with genetics, that basically wiped out the dinosaur, as a metaphor, don't take it too serious. But watch the movie and watch these movies and see how you resonate. Watch The Planet Doom, and listen to the speech or the theme of the intro when it talks about a planet called Arcturus, which is in the Alpha Draconian system, and a war about a substance they call the spice, which enables you to fold space, to travel to space, to travel from A to B without moving, which is expanded consciousness, interstellar travel. That we know that NASA and its scientists have proven that if your body goes into outer space on a primitive manner in a tin can pumped with oxygen, guess what? It becomes gaseous. Well, time travelers know that in their ships you have to become spirit body to realign when you travel the stream of time to hop through dimensions and then re-manifest in 3D again. These are processes as you put on a diving suit and you take it off, and there's a difference, and you get nauseated and you feel all this. Well, this is all documented, this is all shown in movies over and over again for us to understand and to be able to handle these situations once they present themselves to us. Now to the topic, forgiveness, which means actually you are ripping contracts with friends or experiencers that you had in your life that no longer works, that's no longer applicable. And in truth, without having to take any substance to see clearer, is never given outside substance the power of you seeking clarity, where it's your freedom and your religious right to pursue whatever enterprise you need to follow to activate that clearance in you, or the permission slip that you need to receive, whether it's from your higher self, your highest construct, as in cell liberation, meaning that your body and your cell structure comes together as one in unison, singing one song over inner, outer, and understanding the four-dimensional aspects of what that is that makes you and beyond, and knowing there are lores, not laws, which are man-made and artificially and enforced and have no sustainability as such, because everything that is forced or enforced cannot be sustained under free will. We are now coming to a design construct of divine will, where you will know by divine right what you have to do and how you have to apply yourself to the situation. You will know what is wrong. You will know what is right in your perspective, in your belief system. And do not get lost in as spiritually explaining away why you are in duality. Duality is here. There is something that hurts and there is something that is pleasant. How do you find the balance of not getting hurt? To be in the present and be in that what is pleasant without ignoring that which is disturbing to you. Very clear. Also, people that have done wrong in the past, stolen, betrayed, and it doesn't matter what level you are, highest security level, lowest security level, on all structures for this planet, this is your judgment day. This will all come back to you, as in you have to understand you are a fractal being of God, not fractaled, okay? Fractaled means, you are a little bit in dissonance, and your harmonious spirals around you and energy fields are out of control. Some people have that. That's when the spirit body needs adjustment. A lot of people are lost because they don't know what the adjustment means. If you want to step deeper into what bodily adjustment means really, and being grounded, that has to do with being fractalized, being in a golden mean ratio, having all your brain states activated so that they emanate that brain state. We have learned that it makes no sense to explain dimensions when you have no experience of such. That is me explaining a fairy tale story of a place that is so far away, that nobody can find it, and it can never ever be attained. And is what is the old principle of the religio or religion, which is what is accompanied by the sheep, or which is guided and control to control the asleep. Check the Latin word and the root word in Sumerian. It's a control word, and we're using these, you can say, ancient witchcraft words, not even knowing that we are still under the manipulation of an ancient slave control mechanism, which was started a long time ago. And it's time to wake up. It is also time, see, this topic comes in as we are streaming this unrehearsed, totally how it's felt. There's also the idea knowing what light you come into. There's people that had, like me, near-death experience, and there are two lights. One is a very cold and white light, and you think, or so you feel, one with God. You hit a reset, you don't remember anything, and you come back into your body. That is to believe that the manipulation chamber or control chamber to wipe the memory of your original cosmic self. Then there's the organic light, which is more golden and not as bright, and you become one and you transcend, and behind that there are beings and worlds and planets that are physical form that wish to contribute to your awakening. And you do not come back with a reset, you come back with memory, and you retain this memory. This is called total recall. That memory overrides any system or any manipulation that can be sent to make you forgetful or make you forget. Which brings us back to the topic, forgiveness. Forgiveness means that you sever contracts that you had with beings, that you shared experiences that are no longer applicable. We said that. So now it makes no sense to go back to these situations that are unsolvable. You have to part ways. So in peace, what you say is, I go my way, you go your way, thank you for the experience. But you do not have to forget the experience. If you've been treated wrong and the other side claims these are accusations, even though you have proof, then you know for yourself what justice and judgment day is. There's a spiritual law that will take care of that. If people deliberately manipulate out of fear, then they have to face their fear, have to face their shadow, integrate the shadow self. And this takes work in discipline, because eventually you are emotionally everything that you have experienced in the body. There's no escape. We can compartmentalize and put things into the dungeon and seal them, but all of these vaults within ourselves will be opened. All of these chambers in the inner will be opened, and the conscious has to understand what it means, where the subconscious lies, as the subconscious comes to the surface, which is a task that is not easy to handle and to integrate. But have no fear and trust in that the sun rays that are hitting us now are on a much higher frequency band. So it's very tough for regular people to maneuver in these higher light frequencies. And a good friend of mine inspired me and said, you know, the more sunlight comes out, the atoms of an old crusted structure get blown to bits, but not in a negative way. They are getting restructured into a higher order. So they are able to receive much higher frequencies and much higher resonant frequencies, which is actual physical fact. And if your DNA and your body wouldn't adapt that quick, and you have assistance. You're never alone. Each human being has at least 2 spiritual or ET or ultra-dimensional guides that assist the body and make sure that the adjustments in the energy bodies will take place so you can even handle that. Meaning, imagine if you would be from 1815 and you would teleport without the proper spiritual or cosmic training of time travel or dimensional hopping, you wouldn't last a day. Your heart would give in because you have no time reference, which is yourself and the center. As in the eye of the storm or the face conjugation, meaning is where these 2 pine cone waves meet, is the zero field. The zero field is you. The more you come into that golden field of self-existence, self-reliant, fully realized avatar spiritual cosmic being, you will create inventions that will look like magic to others or non-believers, but yet they will be repeatable, they will be physical proof. People will see and acknowledge that this takes place. The consciousness is, yes, indeed slow, while you have videos that install fear or show distractions, and you have 90 million views here, and then you have videos that teach knowledge, and you have 15,000, 20,000 views or less, that shows you where the consciousness is at the moment. We are doing good. More people are waking up. More people are understanding not everything is in books. It is about resonance and what is resonant with me and what seems to make sense. And we will learn what it means when things in life work, and we will know and feel what it means when things do not work. So I say that what we can say to all our past enemies or what we don't like, we forgive all. We do not have to forget. We sever the contracts of experience that are no longer required. We will move on and find those that are in resonance with us. I have an explanation as in my experience, which was a life story, which is a pattern that we all inherit. We as little children play in the sandbox. One kid has the best toy, the most expensive, the most shiny, and all the kids admire that. And the kid is not willing to share. So the other kids are like, they are innocent. They don't know these concepts that we have learned when law comes in and all of these crazy complications to explain existence in life. These kids, from an angelic perspective, feel, and so they humbly retreat from the one that sits there and towers on this great toy that doesn't want to share, and they form their group where they resonate, and they keep exchanging their toys that seem smaller. I was one of the kids, even if I had no toy, I took sand forms, created my little worlds, and I was content and I was happy because I loved myself. And self-love is very important. And then I had kids looking at me, not understanding, how does he do that? Why, without having anything, he still loves himself? Which doesn't mean don't be materialistic, A spiritual person with no economic power is next to useless. We need to be spiritual with economic power, with monetary income, with regulated business, with property, with sovereign platforms where things can be constructed and developed with discipline and diligence and devotion, and people are being honest and open and transparent, not misusing what everybody else seemed to have taught us, that this is how you manipulate, this is how you instigate, this is how you gain power. The only power and the only goal is not the goal that you want to attain or the riches, which are important to move new material and move new lands and establish new cities of light, which is the program, and not another square lodge. I'm talking about buildings that sit on a sacred space that literally emanate light. And if you come with a dark or ill intent, you literally, pardon my French, it will come out. You will have to relieve yourself and purge everything out that is non-essential and doesn't belong to you. So before I drift off into grown-ups status again, in the sandbox I had, and I'm not a victim here, this is an evaluation, and I'm very much over it, but it's a very good uh, picture that I can paint here, where I can see that they kicked in my castle. I couldn't create things or finish things. I was not giving the time to say, this is what I've created, let's share or build something in this playground. And even when I had made friends that wanted more than my friendship and I couldn't deliver that, I was attacked for it, and then I retreated and said, okay, I'm not talking about that being anymore. I want to retreat because it's upsetting to me to be in that facility or vicinity. And that's for all of us. If from kindergarten on, remember the bully that choked you when you didn't defend yourself because you didn't believe in violence, until you decided, I will not dwell in a place where violence is being practiced that way. I won't demonstrate in a place where violence is being propagated and fear is installed. I will not make myself a target, but I will defend myself if that is trying to follow me. So with respect, people have to now understand, if you retreat and go about your way in forgiveness, that you have found another path within yourself, for you no longer need a treatment that is upsetting to you, or a treatment that is draining to you, or that puts you into deficit. Is the first level of what humans try to attain of telepathy is feeling. If we cannot sense one another, if we cannot feel one another, really the sensitivity is what has an opportunity now to be developed. How does this person feel? What is the group dynamic telling me? How do these people communicate amongst themselves? Is there something that can be treated with diplomacy? Also, fractally understand, you can always go back and fix a situation. We've experienced people that basically dashed out that they hear nothing but accusations, but it's not really for them, or basically refusing the responsibility of that was their doing, and they have to correct the situation. And that again has to do with grounding in and fractalizing. Go back to a situation that you have done where you have spoken an untruth and you know it was an untruth, not avoiding the storyline, but more like go back and fix the situation and say, I'm sorry that I did this to you. I remember now, I'm fully aware, I'll take full responsibility that I said that, which is not the truth, and I'm very sorry. Give a gift, if it's a pebble or a crystal or a little thing. Understand, inner stand over an outer stand, that when you go back and fix the situation, you mend it. That has a great deal on your karmic repercussion. When you say, this is what I have done, do not ignore the past or what has happened to you or how it happened to you. See yourself in a clear way, in a clear passage, that you can clarify things that you have done. And I say to my past, I am sorry if there was anything or misunderstanding that came from my side. I tried my best for myself to solve the situation, and I'm on my way now to find my new path, to build my inventions, to help make this planet well, make this planet better, and so we can come together for the greater good for people, and showing that there's progress. Not another meditation session, not another explanation of things that can't be attained. We want to bring the physical things into matter, spirit into matter, to make and feel, understand, overstand, inner and outer. I always have to say the four. So we are no longer enslaved by what we think is right. We have to, by divine feeling and sensory, know we will not steal because we're not operating from lack. We will not manipulate because we're operating from solar plexus and disconnecting our root chakra. We will re-establish ourselves with the divine will from the source. We all are from the source. No book can go past what is and how you came and how you were born. No book will stop an earthquake or the change or a volcano from erupting if need be. and the explanation needs catching up when things take place. So now the message is forgive, experience, evaluate, see in clarity what is, be your true self, and speak your truth, defend your truth. Do not act in violence, act in truth, be powerful. Numbers move in silence all over the planet. We're moving forward, we're getting better, we're establishing ourselves, we're setting up the platforms. Many scientists and scientists are coming together for this thing to clear it all up. Thank the planet for your existence. You are planetary consciousness. And on that note, forgive yourself, love yourself, forgive the others, but defend your freedom and allow yourself to go where you find your peace. And if where you're living is not the peace that is required, then go where you think you can unfold and establish the peace that you need. Thank you and namaste.